Hey everyone, it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks Commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I'm your host, Clay Emo Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take for Monday night, June the 23rd. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. I was not going to do a show tonight, but I was actually inspired by Coach Rob. I'm not sure if Coach Rob is in the chat yet, but he sent me a text, actually a video message this morning, and as he often does, and I like receiving messages from Coach Rob. Sometimes it's very important. Sometimes it's not so important. And sometimes it's some great suggestions. And he actually said to me, hey, Clay, how about this? I know you don't have a show scheduled tonight, but if the Canucks win, why don't you invite Russell on, Nothing is Perfect, to come on the show and to give his thoughts on the series and the team? And I said to him, Coach Rob, that is an excellent idea. But I'm actually going to invite Russell on win or lose. Win or lose. Like, obviously, I was hoping the Canucks would win, but you never know, right? So as Russell was doing his stream during the second period, I think, just before I went out for dinner, I sent him a message, and I didn't even send him a DM or a private message or email him or text him. I could have done all those things. But right in his stream, right in the chat, I said, hey, Russell, win or lose, would you be open to coming on my show tonight and talking about the game and the series, I guess, if it ends? And to his credit, like the solid man that he is, he said yes. So in 10 minutes, I know he's already in the chat because he's never late. So in 10 or 12 minutes at 11:30, I will bring Russell on from Nothing is Perfect because he deserves, I like to shower him with accolades and things, but he deserves a ton of credit for what he accomplished over this Abbotsford Canucks run. And he is the Abbotsford Canucks expert, not me. So I think it's great that I will bring him on, let him share his perspective. So I won't say too much about the game. I'm not going to waste the next 10 minutes, but I have a couple of things that I do want to talk about today. So let's get to that right away. So moderators, thank you for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's Legends, Hall of Fame, and franchise members, thanks for your support. And to everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, whether my beautiful neighborhood of Seafton, Richmond, in the city, Lower Mainland, province, country, continent, around the world, thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be doing anything else, watching anyone else, getting ready for work, school, or bed, or all three. But the fact that you're here with me, know how much I always appreciate you, and I never, ever take you for granted. Shout out to those of you that were in the double duty gang, that you went to Canucks After Dark just now with Parker and me. We had a huge show, actually, and then that you're here. But then you can reverse it one more stream, and then if you're watching Russell, Nothing is Perfect, at any time during the Canucks game, then that makes it the triple duty gang. So as Russell, then Canucks After Dark, and me. And I'm not sure if Trev did a show tonight. I'm not sure if Canucks Uncensored. So any other Canucks vlogs that you watch, put in there quadruple duty, quintuple duty, sextuple duty. That didn't sound right. I don't even know what 7 is. Octuple. Okay, I think that's getting a little bit ridiculous, but you know what I mean. So thank you to those of you that are here right now. Thanks to any of you that were at Canucks After Dark 2, double duty. And if you were there for Russell stream as well, triple duty, then there you go. Skytrain Alfred representing the triple duty. Fangirl representing the triple duty. Rain is reminding me this the septuple. Okay, why can't I say that without sounding like I'm saying something bad? And you're right, my show went past midnight last night, so that makes it quadruple duty. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Loopy Clay, always line change, always. Okay, now, okay, so thank you, Rain, for the lesson. Septuple, octuple, non-tuple. Well, that's 10 then. Tentuple? All right, you guys are awesome. So, This is how you get involved tonight. You can subscribe to the channel, get active in the chat session, get notified of my videos. You can like the video, like the fact that we're together, like the fact that Canucks After Dark came back after a 3-week hiatus, like the fact that Russell is the man, like the fact that the Abbotsford Canucks are Calder Cup champions. That's amazing. And like the fact that we're continuing to build a wonderful community here. And like the fact that, I survived my first full day, I guess my second full day of being a 51-year-old. And I'll talk about that in a second, because I want to give a shout out to Gerald in a couple of minutes. So hopefully, I saw him earlier. Hopefully he's still in here right now. Oh, I like this from Mark. A 10 show is a clay tuple because you're a 10. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, that reminds me of a bad joke. It's not true, but it's a funny joke. I asked my wife if I was the... I messed it up already. Yeah, I asked my wife if I was the only one that she's ever been with. And she said, yes, because everyone else has been a 10. Ba-doom. Thank you very much. You can leave a donation, get the donation train out of the station. You can gift a membership. You can buy your own membership. You can upgrade your own membership. You can use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. Now, a couple of things I want to get to about my birthday. So last night was a wonderful stream, and it was wonderful not because it was my birthday stream, but I think the first hour was fun. We talked about the Abbotsford Canucks. We talked about that this is draft week and free agency starting, blah, blah, blah. Talked a bit about my birthday, but then impromptu for the second half of the show, we went for an hour 50 last night. My kids couldn't believe that I streamed for that long, and let alone in sitting in my suit the whole time. So yes, like a goofball, I dressed up in my own suit, my own birthday suit. Not that kind of birthday suit, but a nice birthday suit. And then for the last 50 minutes, I actually brought about 9 or 10 of you on the stream to give me advice, words of wisdom. And you were very affirming, not just to me, but you were affirming to this entire community. And I need you to know from the bottom of my heart, too legit to quit, like I always am, without a word of a lie. I was very moved by what happened last night. I was so moved that I sent it to my family. I sent it to a few of my best friends, just to not just show them the nice things that you said to me, but rather the genuine concern and care that this community and the individuals involved in this community, how much care and love you have for each other. It was mind-blowing. It was beautiful. It was touching. It was humbling to know that I have a small part in that, and I give us a space to gather. But the quality of the community, the quality of the discussion, the care, the generosity, that all comes from you. So you always mark milestones like anniversaries or birthdays or whatever it may be, to kind of refocus, to gather, to put things into perspective. And you guys did that for me last night. So thank you for everyone for your generosity last night. And thank you for making this community what it is. Having said that, Gerald was one of the people that I brought on last night. And you might have noticed that at the end, when Gerald was on with me as part of his advice to me, he also dropped a bit of a hint of a surprise. He said that he was, I don't know how he knew that where I was going for dinner. I must have said where I was going for dinner. Actually, Gerald, tell me how you knew that I was going to Kobe. But Gerald has an old friend that is the sous chef at Kobe. So Gail, me, Sean, and Cheska, Jacob and Michelle, Kayla and Clyde, the 8 of us, so the 5 family members and their 3 significants. The 8 of us went to Kobe, my favorite restaurant, went there for dinner tonight. Actually, we were there from 7 to 9, got home by 9:45 by the time I dropped everyone off. So I was actually kind of, not stressed, but I was kind of sweating as I was sitting down for Canucks After Dark. Anyways, Gerald had his good friend, the sous chef, Will, cook for our table. He was hilarious. He was amazing. He was generous. He was personable. And he had a lot of fun with me, with Gail, with the kids and their significants. Took good care of us. Took a picture. I don't have it ready yet. I will post it and then I will share it maybe on Wednesday. And then we had a good laugh at Gerald's expense because Gerald wasn't there. So Gerald, thank you. Thank you for setting it up. I really, really appreciate it. You are the magic man indeed. and it added to an already awesome night. And yes, if this is 51, let's see what I'm going to eat tomorrow. But yeah, no, it's really cool. Actually, they brought a candle for me on my ice cream for my 51st birthday. They brought a candle for Sean and Cheska because we told them they're celebrating their engagement. And then they also brought a candle for Kayla because we told them that she was celebrating her graduation. So it wasn't just about me. I appreciate. Wait, I said it on the stream, and then just last night, and then you actually made that connection during the stream. Wow, if that's the case, that is even more impressive than I thought. So thanks everyone for the wonderful show last night. Like I said, I was extremely touched, and I'm looking forward to tonight, where I wasn't going to do a show, but thanks to Coach Rob's suggestion. Coach Rob, I'm not sure if you were here when I talked about it earlier in this stream, how you messaged me this morning. And it was your idea to bring Russell on, and I thought that was an excellent idea. So Russell, if you are there, I'd ask you to bounce backstage whenever you can. I'll bring you on in about 3 or 4 minutes. And no problem. Justin, no problem. And thanks to everyone who's greeted me today. Justin, I think you out of everyone, since you've been here from the very start, you would appreciate what happened last night. So if you have time, watch the second half of last night's stream. And I think that you will be quite impressed. Just like I was impressed that Gerald, you reached out to Will actually during the stream last night. Shannon, actually, Carol, as a good friend, mentioned to me that you were hospitalized tonight. So it sounds like you're out now. So I hope that things are going okay. Shoot me a message when you're able to. All right. I am going to put on my AirPods. That is the first sign that I'm bringing someone on. And then let me just make sure that these are activated and ready to go. Then I will do my mid-show sponsor read, which isn't really a mid-show sponsor read because I've only been streaming for 12 minutes. But we will do that as well. And then I'll bring on Russell for about half an hour. So I hope that's okay with him. I didn't tell him how long I keep him for. But the guy doesn't sleep, right? Look at the guy. He's a machine. So hopefully he'll be able to stay. Russell, would half an hour work? Just give me a thumbs up in the background. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's what we'll do. So out of fairness to him, and if we go anywhere past 12, I will make sure that he can go to his lovely wife, Crystal. And then if I end up staying a bit past 12, but I doubt it. I think I used up my quota for extra time last night. So before we get to Russell, I'm so excited about this. Let's go to my very quick mid-show sponsor read, which again is only happening 13 minutes into my stream. I start off by thanking my primary sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate. At Van City Experts, their experience, knowledge, and expertise can serve you well in navigating through the real estate market and will help you to choose the best home or condo in the Greater Vancouver area that best suits your and your family's needs. Thank you to my secondary sponsor, Coach Patrick Liu, Weight Loss Coach. You can check him out at coachpatrickliu.com/clay and receive a free 5-day workout when you do so. Thank you to Gassy Jack Art, maker of this amazing artwork that you see behind me. Check them out at gassyjackart.com. And also check out Vessi Footwear. Check out the link, tinyurl.com. I said check it out like 8 times there. tinyurl.com/VessiClay. Receive a free pair of socks off your next purchase of Vessi shoes. You can get involved. Not involved, but you can purchase Canuck Clay merch at canuckclay.threadless.com. Thanks to everyone who has done so already. Reminder how you get involved tonight. You can subscribe, like the video, leave a donation, be the first to get the donation train out of the station, gift a membership, buy your own membership, upgrade your own membership, use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. And finally, before I bring Russell on, 2 more things. Reminder that my shows this week, today was actually unscheduled, which is kind of fun, the impromptu ones, and Russell is a big part of it, and Coach Rob. And then I am doing a show on Wednesday night at 11. That will be the massive giveaway because thanks to you guys, your generosity last night, we triggered the high five. So we will do a giveaway on Wednesday night, and then I'll do a members show on Thursday night. So Wednesday at 11 for everyone, giveaway time. Thursday night at 11, members only. And tonight, the last thing, part of the high five yesterday, Irvin, man of his word, said he wouldn't give away, he would divulge just how, I don't know if secret is the right word or not, just how he was crushing everyone in the experience points race. So he true staying true to his word. He actually told everyone that you can start accumulating 70 points an hour as soon as I post the link. I was on Russell's stream at around 6 o'clock tonight. And then Russell, when he agreed that he would come on, I set up the stream. And it looks like people like Alfred and Irvin caught on right away. And they were already pumping their 75 points from 6 o'clock on. So you see a tie on the leaderboard. Alfred and Irvin at 450 points each. Line Change caught wind of it. He's at 350. And then some of you at 200, 150. And I know that you guys have caught on or you listen to Irvin, because usually at around this time, the most people will have is 75 points, right? 75 per hour. And then Irvin would have like 850. But today it's a two-way race at the top, and we'll kind of just see what happens. All right. Enough of that. Let's get to my guest. I'm going to bring him on, and then I'll do the intro because I don't want him waiting backstage any longer. So please welcome the man, the myth, the legend, the one who actually almost single-handedly got us through this entire Calder Cup run, Russell Holiday of Nothing Is Perfect. How are you, brother?
I'm doing really good. How about yourself, brother?
Thanks for joining me. Firstly, how are you feeling?
Good. Yeah. Some of these streams have been a little long these days, especially with all the overtime games so far in the Calder Cup finals. But no, we're doing good. We were doing some like double streams early on in the playoffs, so those were like 6 hours long. That was definitely a lot. But yeah, these ones are running more like three and a half. But the nice thing actually about the AHL games, they're actually very efficient. Like, if the game time is 4 o'clock, 4:05, puck is dropped, and then the game is over within like 2 hours and a half. So it's pretty good. Yeah. No, that's a great point. Barring overtime. Yeah. And NHL is good at this too. You know, it's 18-minute intermission. So it's not like that, but you're right. It's the pregame. It's just getting to everything. That is awesome. By the way, first thing I want to say is, I know when I was watching the start of the Calder Cup run, your subscriber count was 1,050. You've gained 400 to 500 in these last 2 or 3 weeks. Is that fair to say? I think it's the last week, I think.
Congratulations. Wow.
It was crazy. Yeah. Cause we started, I think we hit 1,000. And then our celebration stream, we actually had Crystal come on for the entire stream. So we celebrated the 1,000, and that would have been game 3 of the Calder Cup finals. So we were at 1,000 then. So in the last 3 games.
In the last 3 games, you've done 450. That's amazing, man.
Isn't that crazy?
Congratulations. You deserve it. You deserve it. That is awesome. Okay. If there's somehow someone in here that watches my show, but somehow has not seen what you do, please take a minute or so to explain what you've been doing and who you are and what you're about.
So we have been live streaming during every single Vancouver Canucks game for the whole season, going all the way back to the start of the preseason. And then obviously the Canucks didn't make the playoffs. So we decided we were streaming other games. We were keeping track of the Abbey Canucks. And I think that's the other thing is my really good buddy, Dustin Boydell, he comes on the show all the time. So he's half of the Rusty and Dusty show. And so his assignment for the year was to keep track of the ABBOTSFORD Canucks. So as we're watching the Vancouver Canucks, he would then give us updates on the Abbey Canucks. So then once this run started getting into full steam, then it became very clear that we needed to be doing this as a full-time thing rather than just as like a side thing, because we need some good news in Canucks land because it's been a really tough year. It seems like we get too many of those. But with following the team, we slid right into the games and we actually started doing play-by-play for the ABBOTSFORD Canucks games, which was interesting because I don't really do play-by-play on the Vancouver streams because everybody can watch the game, so we're all kind of just like hanging out, watching the game, goofing around. But with the Abbey game, everyone knows it's on Flow Hockey. Nobody has access to it. So I just started watching the games. I signed up for the subscription. And I just started doing the play-by-play, and that's when this week, especially with the big interest in this team going all the way to the end of it, suddenly I think we had 1,700 watching one game and 1,500 a night or something like that. It was crazy, right? Because nobody could get the game. The other aspect too, anyone who wants to listen to the game, because they were broadcasting on Sportsnet 650. But if you live outside of BC, you probably aren't even able to get that. So if you're living, we had somebody watching from Taiwan tonight. We had somebody watching from South Africa. Like there was people from all over the world watching. So it just kind of went crazy the last few days. But a good end to the season. Regardless of the city the Canucks name has before it.
Amazing. So I'd love to do a few things with you, Russell. If that's cool. I'll ask you a bit about the game. I'll ask you a bit about how you cover the games, about your future plans, and then we'll take a couple questions from the audience. Does that work for you? Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
Awesome. And then I'm not, if we get a lot of donations, I won't run all of them because I want to respect your time. But because he's a staunch supporter of both you and me, I want to give Swervin Irvin his time and give him his video. So Swervin Irvin, thank you for the donation. And your favorite video is coming your way just for you. And Russell, I think you heard me lament that none of my kids did anything to help me except laugh, point, and film. So
yeah, exactly. That's what kids are good for, right?
Yeah. So thanks, Swervin Irvin, for the $3 donation. Let's give Irvin some love in the chat. Who are Lloyd and Trevor?
So Lloyd and Trevor, Lloyd is the bartender from The Shining.
Okay. Yes.
So very early on in the stream, there's a guy who watches that is named DeSaints. And he said, man, this bar looks like the one from The Shining. Like, where's Lloyd, right? So what I did is I actually hired Lloyd, and he works the bar now, but he's actually gone home for the night. And then Trevor Linden is Trevor Linden. So he also hangs out in the bar. He never gets me a beer either, but I don't expect it from him because it's Trevor Linden. But Lloyd and Trevor have gone home for the night, so they're not here.
Good. Well, Lloyd has been busy, and Trevor is too busy dissing Elias Pettersson on Sportsnet 6. I'm just kidding. Okay, so a couple questions.
Call.
I remember watching you when you were starting at the start of the season, and I'm not kidding. I think you had like 66 subscribers, right?
We started the year at I think we had about 140 to start.
Okay, sorry,
140. I used to do Fortnite videos because that was like my side thing. Because I played Fortnite all the time. I thought I was funny, so I put videos out. And I think we managed to we ended up with about 140 or something like that to start.
Great. And then that's a good point because they're either watching Sportsnet themselves or they're Hockey Night in Canada or they're listening. So what was your biggest Canuck stream in terms of like live numbers, do you think? And I just want to show how amazing it is what you accomplished here. So what was your biggest Canucks stream, you think? Vancouver Canucks.
So Vancouver Canucks, what happened was it was very similar to what happened here at the end. So it's kind of funny how the year has been bookend because at the beginning of the year, the preseason was not all on Sportsnet. So there was games that were not available and in a similar fashion, but this time it wasn't paid for. They were playing them on Canucks.com. So but the only problem was it was again geolocked, so anyone outside of BC couldn't watch these Vancouver Canucks preseason games. So I had done maybe 2 preseason games at that point. They were both on Sportsnet, so we just did our thing. I think we had like 4 or 5 people watching. It was probably my mom and my family, right? But then I was like, why not? I'm going to take this Canucks game from Canucks.com and I streamed the preseason game straight onto YouTube because there was no copyright because it's all just through Canucks.com. So we ended up with that. I think we had like 4,000 people watching or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was a big one. But I mean, it's different because it was just because people couldn't get the game. So we had it was the same thing. There was people from all over the world, all these different countries, probably had 20 or 30 countries in there all watching the game. So that was the biggest one, but that was kind of cheating because I was playing the game. But the biggest one ever was Game 5 was the biggest live stream ever, including that one for views. Because the ones in the preseason ended up with about 13,000 views or something like that. And then Game 5, the most recent Game 5 in the Calder Cup final hit 20,000 views. And we maxed out at, I think, like 1,750 viewers at the time. So
live. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff.
Well, you deserve it. So what was your highest regular season Vancouver Canucks game? I guess I should have asked that.
Yeah, I think we were hitting around 1,000 views for our higher end ones. And then we were averaging probably about 600 or 700 views. And then the thing is, you'd see the 4 p.m. games would be a little bit lower viewer count. So you'd probably see 400 or 500. But for like a Saturday night game, you'd probably hit about 1,000 views and we'd probably max out around like 60 or 70 viewers.
Okay, so a lot. It's awesome that you get some retention and people go back and watch, because I think a lot of it has to do the fact that you get actually 1,000 views on a game where everyone knows the result. Yeah, people are watching because they like to hear your commentary and your interaction. It speaks to why I think you're so good at what you do, Russell. Truly. So, but my point is to show your growth. You maxed out at 60 or 70 live viewers at one time, and you had 1,700 a couple days ago.
Yeah,
That's
it's crazy.
Okay, do you have play-by-play experience?
I did a little tiny amount of color commentary. I went to, well, I still have it here because I brought this out earlier. This is my diploma from BCIT. I did radio broadcast and communications years ago. So I actually worked for Bell Globe Media at CFun and Team 1040. But before that at BCIT, we actually got the rights to the Burnaby Express, the hockey team. And so we, as part of our training, would be allowed to go and call these games as practice. And we got to call a few of those games as color commentator, but I never did play-by-play. So this kind of just happened by accident. And it was really hard to start. And as the playoffs went, it just kept on getting easier and easier. And apparently people were enjoying it. So it worked out.
Oh, yeah. Well, everything from making sure you pronounce the names right. I'm talking about Abbotsford, not necessarily Charlotte. You got to pronounce names. You got to make sure that you're not saying the same, not describing the same play in the same way over and over. I know that that's key for play-by-play. And like I said, I marvel at your ability to keep the energy up and to engage the people while making sure that you're not going too far either way, like too goofy and not even doing the play-by-play versus only doing the play-by-play. And I've told you, like, I'm not as good as you, and I don't want to be as good as you. I can't be as good as you because I'm selfish. When I'm watching a game, I don't have to worry about entertaining a bunch of people on my screen, and I'm not sure people want to see me try and explain a game. So that's my excuse. So keep on doing what you're doing. Is your plan to do it during the Vancouver Canucks season next season?
I don't know if I'll do play-by-play again for the once everyone can watch it. I think we'll maybe tone that back. And I know when we were doing the regular season, I would do a little bit of play-by-play when something exciting was happening with the Canucks, but we wouldn't do the full-on play-by-play. Yes. But the one good note, I did get one of my close friends, Chris Vogel. He's a huge hockey guy too. He's had season tickets for years. You might have even met him at events at some point if you guys are all going to events together. But what he said when he heard my play-by-play, he's like, I like what you're doing, but because of the venue, I feel like it's one of those things where you should try and make it a little more goofy than you would as if you were calling it on Sportsnet. So that's where I think I was trying to play it too straight to start. And then I kind of tried to find a little bit more of that, like, I'm not a professional at this, so here's a little bit of goofiness as well. So, and I think that really helped out. So shout out to Chris Vogel.
Awesome. Shout out to Chris, and another sign of your maturity as a content creator. You're not afraid to to make changes. We all have to evolve, right? We all have to evolve. Otherwise, what are you doing? So I won't play the full videos, but I want to acknowledge Lucas's donation. Burnaby Express, no way. I just announced a jersey design for the club now based in Coquitlam, the Coquitlam Express. So thank you, Lucas, for the donation. And just for the sake of time, I won't be rolling videos, but we appreciate the donation. Let's give Lucas some love in the chat. Okay, let's I want to talk okay, last question about the tech side, because I'm a tech geek, as you know, even though my stream always crashes. What do you use as your platform? What am I looking at?
I've got OBS. OBS is the streaming platform that I use.
Good.
And then attached to that, I've got a stream deck, which I use just on my cell phone. I've got the mobile app. And then I also use, for all my overlays, I use a website called Uno, which you can do all these things together.
Beautiful, beautiful. It looks good. It looks good, and it sounds good. Very, very good. All right, let's talk about this actual team. Who are your standouts?
Oh, it's the ones we all have been talking about this whole time. Like Carlson looked great. Baines looked great. Shelov stood on his head. He took that, and I had to look it up originally, but the Butterfield Trophy went to Arthur Shelovs tonight, and I think at the end of this finals, if you look at just the finals, Arthur Shelovs faced 230 shots or something like that in 6 games. And that's just, and he ended up with like a 9.3 save percentage in the finals.
Wow.
Right. But I mean, and then you look at Baines too, right? Baines wasn't really scoring until the finals. And all of a sudden he had 6 goals in the playoffs and finished, I think, 3rd in scoring for the whole playoffs.
Wow.
And then Carlson, Carlson's got to make the team next year. Like, he's got to be a Vancouver Canuck, because the man is like He is feisty. He gets under the other team's skin. He gets into dirty areas, picks the puck up. His back check is great. Like everything that kid does is amazing. So hopefully if we can get that guy on a third line role or a third or fourth line role, man, I think that's going to be a scary combination out there for the new coach Foot.
Yeah, and Russell, I made the joke on Canucks After Dark with Parker, even though I haven't watched any of the games. I've seen highlights. I can't remember the last time Linus Karlsson scored a goal that was not within 12 feet of the net, right? Like, he's so good. That cross-ice pass on the power play or just curling out and then shoving it between the goaltender's legs. Like, he's so good around the net.
Yeah, and I mean, the pass from Baines to Karlsson for the game winner tonight was like, and it was hard work from Baines to get it out of the corner, makes a hard pass across. And even with the bad ice, and you saw it all night long, that was some chopped up ice. That was some like you're skating on a river kind of a thing ice. But Karlsson, no mistake, scoops it up, one motion, shoots it into the net. And that was his 12th goal of the whole playoffs, right? So 12 goals in 24 games, that's a goal every other game in the playoffs at the hardest time of year to play. So big numbers for him.
The ice is so bad. The Klimovich goal, I still haven't found where the puck was.
Okay. Klimovich, I can't explain that one to you because I had to go back because even when I called it, I was like, I don't know how it ended up, kids. I'm sorry. But so what happened was Chase Wouters carries the puck out, drag move, tries to put it far side, rebound comes out, Waters goes down in front of the net, and then a couple of the checkers come in and Klimovich manages to kick the stick up from his skate to his stick, shoots it, goes off the post on the near side, hits Capo Kakinen in the back, drops down, doesn't go in yet, and then Kakinen back up and knocks it into his own net. That's the goal. Because then at the last second, Tristan Nielsen came in and poked us. And so that's why I thought maybe it was a Nielsen, but no. It went off the post, off Kakinen, dropped down, and he backed it into his own net. So it's Klimovich's goal to tie the game.
Right. Klimovich wears number 18, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I knew, like, I'm not an expert in Abbotsford, but a goal is confusing when the guy who supposedly scored is like 8 feet from the net and not moving. Like,
yeah, it was just like playing ping pong behind that goalie, and then it ended up in the net. So last man to touch the puck, you'll take it.
That is crazy. You know, one thing I noticed, you talk about the bad ice, and even there was no bad ice when Mancini fell over himself last game, because that was here. But what I did notice, Charlotte's fast. Like, they had so many of their goals in Game 5 were 2-on-1s or 3-on-2s. Again, today's first goal, I think it was off a 3-on-1. They certainly were good on those odd man rushes.
And that all started with Hirose falling down in the offensive zone. So all the way up in the Charlotte zone, Hirose lost an edge, fell down, and suddenly it's a 2-on-1 going back. The Canucks managed to back check to get it to a point where it's now a 3-on-2, but Charlotte played it very, very well. That Jack Devine, who came in late in the series, he had 4 points in 3 games or something like that, and him and the other young guy, I can't remember his, off the top of my head, but they came in and, man, they looked really good together, and that's the thing in a series like that. Hirose falls, and you just know it's going back the other way. It's going to be scary, and it does end up in the back of the net.
That's such a good point.
Outside of that, Hirose looked great.
Yes. And much like we say, that's why World Juniors are so exciting, because they're young, they're not pros. A lot of mistakes, great goals, great saves, big hits. Russell, when I went to the game on Thursday night, Game 4, it was the exact same thing. Like, it was mistakes, because these guys are semi-pros, some like career AHLers, but they're not the pros yet. So there were mistakes. They're big hits that Nielsen hit in Game 4 behind in the corner, and great goals, great saves. It was very entertaining hockey. And so, you watching every single second of every single game, were you kind of impressed, surprised, or did you kind of think this is what it was going to be like?
Oh, I was very excited to watch this, because we like I said, we've been following it all year long, and so to finally be able to just sit down and watch the games and actually pay for the subscription and see it, because you see the highlights, and I actually, the AHL does a decent job of getting the highlights out there. As long as you're checking out, like, if you guys want to see it, Flow Hockey always does. They've got like a 15-minute highlight package out for most of these games. So if you want to see the highlights, you didn't get a chance, that's a good place to check it. But no, like, the pace of the hockey was great. And the other nice thing is, obviously, you don't see a bunch of gambling ads. There's no digital ads on the ice and the walls and all this.
Great point. Like,
So these are all, it feels a little more old school. Like, it almost feels like the NHL from the 90s that you're watching, right? And it's a little more skilled than you would have seen back then in the 90s, even more than that. But man, like the Abbey Canucks play a smash mouth kind of hockey, and that's just fun to watch. You mentioned Nielsen threw a big hit, Sammy Blais, and we call them Clay. I don't know if you know this, but they talk about Chell, and that's the NHL video game. Sammy Blais was throwing Chell hits. Like, he was just, it's like, and the guy's like flopped over on the ice behind him, right? So Sammy Blais is another guy. Like, sign him now. Like, get him on the Vancouver Canucks, get him a contract, and get him on a line with Kiefer Sherwood, because that would be an amazing thing to watch.
That's right. I know when we were chatting in game 2 intermission, I think it was, where we were talking about Sammy Blais, PTO. So every other team might have their eyes on him too now. So we'll kind of see what happens. You know, there's one other thing. So Lekir Mackey, when I was there on game 4, he was good, right? He scored the opening goal. I think he scored 2 that night. How was he in game 5, game 6?
I think the Charlotte Checkers started keying on him a lot more through the next couple games after he scored the 2. And they definitely did kind of batten down the hatches. Obviously, getting into Abbotsford, playing that first game in Abbotsford, the first time they've been out of their own time zone pretty much the entire year. I think they played like one series against Manitoba or something like that, so they moved over like one time zone or something like that. But then to travel out, it was like 4,000 kilometers up here. They were like 6-1. That was the first game. That was obvious, but they got a lot better. And then Lekir Mackey definitely had to deal with their better checking ability as the series went on. But I still felt like even though he wasn't necessarily scoring, he was still getting shots. He was still being very effective on his back check. He wasn't being taken off the puck as easily as he had early in the playoffs. So throughout the Calder Cup finals, Lekir Mackey really did a good job to step his game up and take care of both sides of the puck rather than just being an offensive threat. Good. Who impressed you on Charlotte, Russell? Oh, I mean, Jack Devine's got to be right up there, right? He looked great. Very young guy. His profile picture is hilarious. He's wearing a suit because he's fresh out of college. Sordif looked really good out there. He was running around. And then I feel like Capo Kakinen had his moments, but I think that's kind of been the book on him for a while, where we had someone in my chat tonight who's a big Winnipeg fan and said that he got booed off the ice as a member of the Manitoba Moose. So Capo Kakinen was one of those guys who I think if maybe he gets the right goalie coach could probably put things together, because some of the saves he made were incredible as well, but definitely a little bit shaky at times as well. And then it was fun. Obviously, we talk about Canucks logic. He had Will Lockwood out there playing on the other side. And then even the other night, Zach Dalpe actually took the warm up. He was on the ice, but he didn't actually play. I think they were thinking about putting him in. But the thing I liked about Will Lockwood was the fact that he wasn't very noticeable, and so that makes me feel a little bit better that we didn't that we did end up letting him go. So for different reasons, I was happy to see Will Lockwood not playing as well as he wanted to. Yeah. And admittedly, I didn't know anything about Leonard before the series other than he was their leading goal scorer or leading point getter. So I saw that he had a cup of tea with San Jose, So he's a bit of an agitator. Like, he's not that big, so he's kind of like annoying. And then of course, seeing Sordif was pretty cool. Like, he was very noticeable every time he was on the ice. I think he had 9 shots in one of the games in Charlotte, out of the first 2. He was throwing his weight around. He was getting under him, and Sammy Blais were going at each other all series long. So you know that if you're getting Sammy Blais goat a little bit there, then you're doing something good. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a guy like Sordif get another cup of tea in the NHL pretty quick here as well. Yep. A couple more from me, Russell, especially because, we could talk about the actual game, but people can watch the highlights and I just kind of like the nuances of what I noticed from your show. So where did this come from? Where did the whole thing about your laugh out loud, come from? Because that's pretty funny. That makes me laugh every time I hear it. It's I think it's because everyone always goes LOL, right? Like, people literally say LOL, right? But laugh out loud is literally supposed to mean that you're laughing to the heavens, right? And so I was inspired by Jim Carrey's Ace Ventura, which I kind of have the Ace Ventura hair going on right now, so it works. But my wife makes that. We do that laugh when we're being weird together. We'll go. So then anytime someone puts LOL in the chat and I read it, then I I will do the laugh out loud chat. So that's
Love
where that
it.
started.
And Erwin just says the LOL sounds like Jim Carrey. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So second, where did this come from? I love it after a goal or when you go rapid fire. And so line change is this and Charlie says this and then like this and then like this. So where did that come from? Aside from your need to just get through a bunch of comments.
It was a lot easier to start the year when we only had 30 people watching because there was only a couple that you had to read off. But now it's just got, I think the thing is I think for the first like 75% of the season, I was able to read pretty much every single comment that came through. But then as you get more subscribers, it gets harder and harder. But we have custom emojis if you're a member of Nothing is Perfect. So there's certain ones that you can use. So we have one that's a goal emoji. But the other kind of weird thing that I have started doing, and I don't really know why, is the emojis. I kind of like trying to read them as they are rather than because a picture means 1,000 words, right? So then if somebody's using the learn the rules emoji and the wave emoji, and so then I read those out or like the laughing and crying. So I don't know. I've just started reading them like it's a text message. So
I love it. I love it. I'm wasting 15 seconds playing a video and not doing anything, and you're getting through 20 messages in the 15-second time span. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, here's one that I think I'm fascinating in is looking back now. Is there anything that you would actually like to do better, or you think you actually could have done better? Numbers notwithstanding, like the way you presented something, maybe the way you set up something, the way you react to something. Is there anything that I'm not trying to get you to feel bad about anything you're doing, but we always need to evolve as we talked about. So what's one thing that maybe you could do better, you might want to change or at least consider going forward?
I think I wanted to do more video editing and more standalone videos. So like video highlight packages or and I think maybe over the year I've done like maybe a dozen shorts or something like that, just little goal reactions and stuff. And I definitely wanted to do more of that. Shorts are a great way to drive people to your channel and to your videos. So ideally, I've been posting. The thing is, I got myself to a point where I was happy, where I was posting the post-game show and I was posting like a side show, which is more kind of like news of the day stuff. And so that was good. And so we got pretty good at that. But I definitely would have liked to have produced more shorts and more kind of like short form videos to drive a little bit more quick viewership, because I know a lot of these days it's all TikTok and YouTube shorts. So I think I probably would have, but there's not enough time in the day. This is this is a side hustle, right? So and I mean, better than anyone. I think you probably work 40 hours a week at your job, and then you still have the time to do all this, and you're bowling and all this. So but yeah, I think that would be the main thing, is just more. Because at the very beginning of the year, I said I'm going to produce a Trevor Linden docu-series, because I've already produced one back in the day. So I wanted to continue it on, and I started working on it. It was just like, man, this is just not going to happen. Like, there's just not enough time.
There's a video I saw where I probably have the order wrong, but you said it's gone from hobby to passion to hustle, or from passion to hobby to hustle. What was I watching? Yeah. Was that recent? What was that today?
It might have been. It might have been.
Do you remember saying? Do you remember saying something like that? I
said that. Yeah. Because it started off as a hobby and then it turned into a hustle.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, the ultimate
awesome
goal, and I've said this a few times on stream, the dream goal is to stream a game live from Rogers Arena in the broadcast booth. Like, that's the ultimate, right? And I mean, it's one of those things where at first I'm sure they'll be like, what are you talking about? There's no way we're going to let you do that. I'm like, listen, no, I'm not showing the game. It's literally going to be me watching the game. And I think maybe eventually, once the subscriber count gets up a bit, that's something I'm going to be looking to set up. So we'll see how it goes.
That is awesome. Okay, this is what I can do. We're going to keep Russell for a couple more minutes, and just pepper him in the comment section. Any questions? Nothing is too trivial or too serious, but we'll do 5 minutes max with Russell, and then I'll be able to wrap up. So anything for Russell, nothing for me. I don't want any questions to me. Everything to Russell about his experience, what he thinks about the team, what he thinks about the Canucks, the Abbey Canucks, his experience covering this entire playoff run. Adrian asked you, how do you think the Abbey Canucks would fare in the NHL? Just plop that roster in, and how do they do?
I think they could take the Chicago Blackhawks. You take Bedard and you move him to the Abbey Canucks, because that's where he really belongs, because he was at the game the other day. And if you remove Connor Bedard from the equation, I think the Abbey Canucks could beat the Chicago Blackhawks.
Awesome. I'm asking, what kind of dog is Dobby?
Dobby is a miniature Aussie Shepherd.
How old?
He is 5 now. Do you want me to grab him quickly?
Sure.
I'll grab him right now.
All right. So I can't wait for this. He's obviously close by. I hope so. I hope he's not running upstairs to go get him. Oh. What a beautiful dog.
He's a little prince. He's very spoiled. He's very high maintenance.
How heavy is he?
He is about 38 pounds. So, but yeah, he definitely has kind of like a border collie look to him.
Yeah.
But he is a sweet, good boy. He's very smart. And he wants to go back to nap. So I'm going to let him.
Okay, no, but you said he's high maintenance, so he doesn't look like it.
He's always chill on stream. And then if you met him in person, he'd be jumping at you. Because he is like, he loves people. Like, he's extremely friendly. So he always, as soon as he meets anyone new, he just wants to jump on them and lick their faces, which is fine because it's love, but also not everybody wants a dog jumping on them and licking their face.
So I think you heard me talk about my Shih Tzu Mickey, who's the opposite. He's low maintenance and he's the laziest dog in Canada. There he is, Mickey. That's his normal look. He does not know where the camera is. His eyes go this way, but we love him just the same. Awesome. That is awesome. Why did Russ ban Mr. Fuji?
We didn't ban Mr. Fuji. He disappeared. He was my very first mod. He was one of the first randoms that were actually watching my stream. And so I made him a mod because I was like, I need a mod. And I didn't have anyone else to make them. And then he just vanished. So we go hashtag justice for Fuji. We got to figure out where he ended. We figure he's in a prison somewhere or something like that. So hashtag justice for Fuji.
Brandon says, go Abby. Happy to see nothing is perfect. Awesome. Hey, Russ, how many Abby Canucks do you think make the big boy club down the road?
I think you could probably see upwards of 3, maybe. It might be. Yeah. It depends. Like, I think I asked you on your stream the other night if She Loves Play makes Demko expendable, and I mean, I've heard that Demko's starting extension talks, but you can't really let She Loves walk away. So they're gonna have some tough choices to make in the crease. But I think Carlson's a shoe-in. I think Mancini's kind of going to be a tweener. I think he'll be in and out of the lineup. And then I think Archie Bain's going to get a look too. And then Max Sasson too, right? Ratu. And that's the thing. We didn't even talk about Ratu. He's been this whole run. And and that's what I said to Dustin and I'm upset that he wasn't there to experience this run because I think it would have been really good for his development, like all these young guys. And we forget the Abbey Canucks were the 5th youngest team in the entire AHL. So, I mean, I say 3 right now this season, but you'll probably see more of these guys coming up and getting the call up when we see injuries with the Vancouver Canucks in the next couple of years.
I agree. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of like one-offs as opposed to regulars.
Kudratsev looked great. Even like Hirose looked good. Like the whole defensive core looked great together. And I mean, we did see Brisebois have a couple games up with the big club, and he looked good. And the defense is scary for the Abbey Canucks.
Yes, agreed. Canucks content creators unite. Canucks Uncensored. What is the 15th overall worth if it's only a 1-for-1 trade, not a package?
So if you just trade the 15th overall for a player?
Like what type of player you're getting? I don't think much, right?
I don't think you're getting much. No, I mean, with the reports out that this is kind of a weak draft, and 15th overall is not probably going to get you much. So you might be able to get maybe a 3rd line player or something like that, but it'd probably be like an older 3rd line player.
Yeah, I love it. And let's end with this one. With regards to Carlson, as good as he was in the AHL playoffs, why hasn't the same success translated when he is with the NHL club?
He's still young, and he does kind of seem like he's a bit of a late bloomer here. He's been with the Abbey Canucks now for 4 seasons. He's the highest scoring Abbey Canuck player in history. He took over the title from Sheldon Dries in both goals and points, right? So, but I think that's the thing is, I think he's a bit of a late bloomer, and you've seen he's kind of filled out a little bit now. And I honestly, Manny Malhotra has been huge for Carlson because as soon as Manny Malhotra came into the system, Carlson kind of took a turn. It was a little bit more defensively responsible, and with all the buy-in from everybody around him, I think I think he's going to make a good show of it this year. I think, and that's the thing. He's already signed his contract for next year. He signed a 1-way deal with the Vancouver Canucks. So if they want to put him back down in the AHL, they risk losing him. And after he's the leading scorer in the AHL playoffs, you don't want to have that. Clay, if you want, I'm willing to stay on for another 10 minutes if there's more questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't want to rush it. Okay, I'll ask, so pump in a bit. No, let's do it. We'll go to 12:15 for sure with Russell. Then I'll wind up for the last 5 minutes. And then basically I get my hour. Amazing. Really quickly, while we get more questions, I noticed in Nothing is Perfect. Is that a 0 or an O? Tell me about that.
0. Nothing is Perfect is taken on every single platform already. It's a very common term, right? So nothing is perfect at gmail.com. Nothing is perfect on Twitch, on YouTube. It's all taken everywhere. And so I just put a 0 in there. And I think I think it actually started as my Fortnite name. And then I just started using it everywhere. So nothing to do with the Canucks or anything like that. No.
Technically,
we're putting the 0 in nothing. I mean, that's the thing is it's a common phrase, right? Like nothing is perfect, and that's a lot of the time you can say that about the Canucks, where it's like nothing's perfect.
Yeah, love it. Line Change, another content creator. Big congrats on 1455. Proud of you, brother. Glad to be a part of it. Awesome. Yeah, Tyler's great. Thank you,
Tyler.
Yeah. That's awesome. Mr. Simon says, I just want to know, how do you like in the next couple of years? Are you going to be like a John Shorthouse or Jim Robson type?
No. I don't think that. We got too many, like Brandon Astle, who is calling the Abbey Canucks playoffs. I feel like he's probably going to get a chance moving forward. But I mean, you got Brendan Batchelor, who's only been doing it for a couple of years too. And with the way that Sportsnet going to, I don't know if they haven't really been doing a good job of having like a set Canucks commentator. Like they don't do that as much as they used to. So, I mean, John Shorthouse is probably still going to go for a long time too. So I'll just keep on doing my YouTube thing.
Yeah, no, that's good. And the radio guys, they don't even travel anymore, so they're calling off a monitor, which is no.
Is that what Brendan Batchelor's doing now? He's calling off a monitor?
Often, yeah. So there's been jokes.
That's brutal.
They're watching the TV feed and calling. Yeah.
I heard TNT was doing that for some of the playoff games, and that's like right, like that's crazy. And that's what I'm doing, right? And then it's hard, right? You're calling off a screen. That's the thing. You look at the Abbey Canucks specifically, right? Like I got Jujar Kara and Arshdeep Bain mixed up because they both have a 1 to start, and they're the only guys on the team with a 1 to start. And then you got a million guys whose number ends in 4, right? Like, and there's a couple 9s, like Sammy Blaze a 9 and Mueller's a 9, and you're like, it's hard because the cameras on AHL TV are not great either, too. Yeah.
Actually, that's a great point, because I don't know if you heard this. The heartbreaking overtime goal at the end of Game 5, they originally said it went off of Kudrasov, but that was Breezeball. Remember, it went Mueller. But because of the numbers, they thought it was Kudrasov. It's
exactly
crazy.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Scott Chernoffin says, "Hey Russ, have you ever been to a Canucks game at Rogers?"
I've been to many games at Rogers Arena. I started going years ago. My dad, we bought it was like quarter season tickets or something like that, so we'd go to 10 games or something in a year. Or whatever it was, It was great. And then And then I also sold 50-50 tickets at Canucks games. And I don't know if they're still doing it, but back in the day, you'd get a set of tickets for the third period. And during the play, you'd be able to, because I was there so often, I would actually get a sit down. You can see the 50-50 people selling in the stands for the first couple periods. Yeah. So then you just sit down and you're on the lower bowl, which was very cool. So I watched, I think one year ended up going to like 40 games or something like that, which was awesome.
What was the last year you sold? What was the last year you sold 50-50?
Oh, it would have been like 2004 or 5 or something like that. It was around I was at the game, the Bertuzzi incident with Steve Moore. And I think that was the last season I was doing 50-50, I think, or whatever year that was.
I was there too. I couldn't believe, and I was in the nosebleeds. I couldn't believe just the eerie silence, the buzz. It was like a silent buzz, if you know what I mean. Do you agree with it? It was just strange. It was ominous.
I had left the game.
Yeah.
I was on the SkyTrain when we heard about it. Everyone on SkyTrain was stoked. And then we saw the clip and we're like, oh, wait, that's not cool.
No, I hear you. Do you think Alvin may reluctantly trade a Mancini or another top prospect to get us to a second line center like Rossi?
I think that's the thing right now. I think we have a lot of defense, so I wouldn't be too upset about trading one of our defensive prospects at this point. But I don't know if I would do it for Marco Rossi. I'm worried about his size. Being a centerman and having him as Pettersson as the top 2 centers, which would be difficult, especially looking at the way the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup the last 2 years with smash mouth hockey, right? So
it's okay.
You can have one or the other with Pettersson and Rossi, but I'm scared of having both of them. Don't
worry, you got the monster Bluger right behind them, so you're fine. What's your ultimate goal for your YouTube channel? Great question, Fangirl.
Yeah, I kind of talked about the one earlier, calling a game from Rogers Arena.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just to continue to grow. And I mean, when I started it, there was nobody doing what I was doing, and I think that's part of how it worked. Was it's a watch along, and I found out after started doing this that happens sometimes for like special games and stuff like that. But for the most part, people don't do every single game, and I think Steve Dangle does every single game, doesn't he? I'm pretty sure.
No, no playoffs only. He doesn't do it during the regular season.
Oh, okay. So he didn't even do. Okay, yeah.
No,
but yeah, I mean, it would be fun to call a game at Rogers, and just I think the other goal is to start having more people coming on too, right? Like I already announced I've got Brandon Astle is going to be coming on the show during the summer.
Awesome.
To chat about the run, which that'll be fun. And that's kind of the thing is, I want to have you guys coming back on, all the content creators and stuff like that. And maybe eventually do a 24-hour stream. I don't know. I think if Clay can do it, then I might be able to pull it off.
Oh, you can do it, but it's the dumbest thing I've ever done, but I've done it twice. So just so you know.
Yeah. Okay, so my final answer for Fangirl's question is the ultimate goal is to finally get my interview with Trevor Linden, because when I did my Trevor Linden documentary back in my BCIT days, it was in Trevor Linden's last season as the playing in the NHL. And so when I arrived, I actually got to go to Canucks practice and interview players in the locker room for my documentary, which was cool. I got hooked up. One of my professors was also working for the Team 1040, so it worked out. And I show up, and you've had him on your show, but Ian
McIntyre?
He stole Trevor Linden from me.
What?
I don't know. I mean, he doesn't know anything about it, right? Like, but they're like, sorry, he's been taken. And it turned out Trevor Linden was doing an interview with Ian McIntyre, which is fine because, Ian McIntyre is doing it for a living. But it was just funny. The practice I showed up on, I got scooped by Ian McIntyre, but that's fine. I won't rub it too much in Ian's face when we eventually have him on the show. But
no, I'll do it for you. That's not cool. I'm with you.
Yeah, we eventually have to get the interview with Trevor Linden because it never actually happened. So we'll do that one of these days.
Love it. Is next season make or break for Ratu, or has he still got time?
No, I think that's probably accurate.
Okay,
probably his last kick at the can before he becomes an expendable prospect.
Sure. Sensei Dean says, love the stuff in the background. Did you ever go to a Canucks game at the Coliseum?
I never went to a Canucks game at the Coliseum. We moved here in 92 when I was 8 years old. So we didn't start going to hockey games until Rogers or GM Place at the time.
Awesome. Last two. Boston is looking at getting Besser. Your thoughts?
They want to get slower? No, I mean, I feel like Besser, the best option for Besser is to be attached to a team that is on the precipice. I don't think he's going to be a guy who comes in and takes a team like Boston, who struggled mightily last year, and take them to the next level. So I think him signing with a team that didn't make the playoffs is probably a bad thing for him and his career, because I don't know he's going to be. And we saw that, I think, a bit with JT Miller leaving the team, where Besser wasn't the play driver. And I think with his first 40-goal season outside of that, he's a 30-goal guy. Like, don't get me wrong, 30 is great too, but 40 is a whole different level in this league. And I think I was actually thinking LA might be a good spot for him, even though they're actually quite slow as well. But they seem like a kind of team that if they maybe got that one goal scorer rather than a Kuzmenko, who did play well to start, but I think Besser is probably an upgrade on Kuzmenko. So that might be a way for the Kings to finally get over the hump against the Oilers.
You're exactly right, man. Besser at this point is a complimentary player. He can't be your driver, but he can be a wicked. He can be a wicked complimentary player for sure. All right, last one. I love this. What was the most memorable unplanned stream moment?
That was when the power went out.
Tell us what happened.
So we were streaming during, I think it was the New York Rangers game, and it was the night of the bomb cyclone off the coast. And I'm midstream. It's like, I think it was getting close to the end of the second period, and boom, the power goes out in my whole apartment. Things go down. somehow my stream stayed up, so it was just a frozen picture of me because my mom was in the stream that night. She was calling me and she's like, but then I guess because the power went out, it actually went out in the cell tower too. So I was gonna stream from my phone if I had to, but I couldn't even do that. So I ended up scooping up my computer and I ran down the street to a bar that had Wi-Fi, and I ended up finishing out the game, watching because the bar was empty too. So I just sat in the corner and I finished the stream out. And I did an interview without being able to hear the person with Jake's Takes Hockey at the very end. And yeah, that was probably the best, the craziest unplanned moment where suddenly I'm running through the rain, bomb cyclone down to the bar to finish broadcasting the game.
Hey man, that just speaks to your dedication. Speaking of your dedication, 45 minutes with you tonight after you've done a 3-hour show. So thank you, man. And congratulations. Truly, on not just the growth of your channel, which is nice. Numbers are one indicator of growth, but just the way that you know, I always talk about the way that we build community, and we're only as good as the people that watch us. And be one thing to have a bunch of numbers watching us and a bunch of donations, but if you're not adding value, if you're not doing anything for the people, with the people, and listening to the people, there's no point. We might as well go like try and do this for a living and not worry about the people that actually do support us. So I think you did an awesome job, and you deserve whatever success, however we measure it. You certainly deserve it. And yeah, I've been blessed to get to know you a little bit over the past couple months too. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to thank you too, because that was, I mean, you were very early on in my stream. I think that was before Christmas last year. You were one of the very first people who came on the show. Rev Trev was one of them too. Yeah, and that's the thing is, I was just I think at that point, maybe I had like a couple hundred or something like that subscribers, but I reached out to you and you were very gracious to come on the show and spend some time with me and opened me with open arms. And I think that's the thing is I've started calling you the Canuck father.
Thank you. By the way, I love that. Thank you. I'll take it.
I say you're Canuck father and Rev Trev's Canuck uncle. So somehow that just feels right? Like
it does. He
feels
does
like Rev Trev shows up, gives me a bunch of candy, and then it's like, see you later. Right? Like that's uncle, right?
Yeah, and I'm the one who's got to lay down the heavy once in a blue moon, if ever. No, you're doing great, and as everyone says in the chat, you're a legend. You're doing such good work. So I look forward to many opportunities to collab over the summer, and especially once we get going again. But keep up the great work, brother, and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Clay, and thanks for having me on tonight. And,
all right,
enjoy the summer, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Sounds great. All right, talk soon.
See you later.
That, my friends, is Russell Holiday. Nothing is perfect. He did amazing. He did an amazing run throughout the Calder Cup run, and he's only continued to grow in his channel and in his engagement, which is already really, really high. So really appreciate Russell coming on. Coach Rob, thank you for the suggestion to see, Coach Rob, I do take some of your suggestions and actually follow through with them. In all seriousness, I appreciate you reaching out to me, because that made for some great content, and not more importantly, just to hear his perspective, both behind the scenes on how to run such a stream, and his thoughts on the team itself. And yes, dad versus uncle vibes. I will take it all the time. Trevor's a dad too, so you can call him a dad, but I like Canuck father. I think that is pretty cool. Yeah, Sorbet Urban. You know what's really funny is so glad these guys have separate time slots. If you're talking about me and Russell, and yeah, there's only so many hours in a day. So on a night where there's Canucks After Dark and there's Canucks Uncensored, there's Nothing is Perfect, there's Canuck Clay, there's Rev Trev, and then there's that's not even including the real media guys, like the Canucks Army and the Rink Wide and everything. So there's certainly a lot of content to consume. And I think that's a good thing. I really think that's Locked On Canucks and others. I think that's a really, really good thing. But there's a reason why that I chose 11 o'clock at night. It's usually most of the post games are winding down or they're done. And it's actually the best time that works out for me as well in my own personal life. But yes, I do love the fact that able to connect with people like Russell and other great content creators along the way. Hey Jess, this was an impromptu stream that I thought of at 6 o'clock tonight, and then I posted about it. So you got to turn your actually, even if you turn your notifications on, I get that not everyone's checking their YouTube app all the time. But yes, the stream is ending. I started at 11:15, but I think you're going to Mexico, right? Yeah, that's more important than watching some 50-year-old man talking with a good-looking. I'm guessing Russell's Well, he said he was selling 50-50. I don't want to guess how old Russell is, but a lot younger than me, that's for sure. You're at Din Tai Fung. That's cool. See, that's good. With that kind of food, you dim some, you lose some. Thank you very much. I was at Kobe and had an awesome time. All right. Oh, you're 40. Thank you. Okay, I was actually going to say mid-30s. So that sounds about right. Well, you're good-looking 40. Just like I'm a good-looking 51. We have 91. We have Evander Kane. Number of years of life experience underneath us. Okay, friends, thanks for joining tonight. Oh, I can take these out now. So, moderators, thank you for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Carol Bovenlander, legendary Brian Blingy Choi, and legendary Andrew Chang. And to Hall of Fame and franchise members, thanks for your support as well. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, subscribing. Appreciate you. You can like the video, subscribe, leave a late donation on your way out. Thank you to my sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate, Coach Patrick Liu, weight loss coach. And thanks to everyone who went above and beyond tonight. And that was Swervin Irvin with the $3 donation and Lucas Gates with the $5 donation. Winning the leaderboard tonight. It is, I'm so excited for this. Elfrin and Irvin tie with 525 points and line change right behind them with 425 points. So congrats to all of you for winning absolutely nothing, but it looks fun and it looks very, very exciting. My next show. Oh, you guys can, I hope you guys can hear me. I must have unplugged my, my camera, or no, I didn't charge it. So it's this is a total sign that I must end my stream exactly right now. So don't forget, my next show is on Wednesday. Actually, let's see. Without a camera, I think I can still show videos and stuff. So I want to acknowledge this late donation from Brian. This is truly CCC After Dark. And my power didn't have to go out for this to happen. It's just because I was fooling around with some plugs and I forgot to plug my camera in the chart. So Brian, this is for you.
3, 2, 1.
Let's give some love to Brian. Maybe I'll put up a screen so at least you can look at something while I'm talking. There, let's put up that screen. So thank you, Brian, for that $7 donation as I'm on the way out, even though you can't see me, but maybe some of you guys actually like that. Maybe I'll put this one up here as I'm ending there. That looks good. So thanks again, Brian. Let's give Brian some late love in the chat. And don't forget that my next show is on Wednesday night at 11 p.m. As Russell always says, don't forget to make good choices. And as I always like to say, make sure you charge your camera while you are streaming. So as always, rate the bad joke on the way out. Thanks again, Russell, for joining me. And congratulations to the Abbotsford Canucks, Calder Cup champions. Sounds so good to say. So as you look at that good-looking guy in front of you, don't forget to rate the bad joke on the way out. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Take care of yourselves. And take care of each other. Where do boats go when they're sick? Where do boats go when they are sick? To the dock. To the dock. Is it weird listening to me but not seeing my face? God bless. And go Canucks go. Booyah.